Dun, dun, dun. Hello, nerds. Welcome to Two Idiots Talk About F1. Now, this podcast is for like-minded idiots like us that love to yap about F1 but aren't at all qualified to talk about it. We gossip about anything F1 related, news, memes, Netflix, and everything in between. We also plan on doing a lot of yapping after each Grand Prix. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we can. And because we desperately need experience on our CVs. So sit down, relax, put your headphones on, grab a cup of Red Bull because you're going to need it to listen to us talk. But most importantly, enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to the second episode where Kevin and I will discuss the Jeddah Grand Prix in the very liberal and accepting country of Saudi Arabia. To start off, I propose that Kevin will bring you up to date on the inciting facts about Saudi Arabia.
Hello, I'm Kevin. So first fact, women were actually not allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia until 2016. So,
Nice.
If you connect the dots, F1 Academy is basically not very welcomed because they have women drivers.
What?
The second fact is freedom of speech, and everything related to the rainbow flag is widely supported. An example of this is the Saudi Arabian journalist that was a notorious critique of MBS, the Crown Prince, mysteriously disappeared in an embassy, and I think what we found that was left of him was just little pieces of his body.
Nice. It would make great charcuterie, as we say it in French.
Exactly. So very, very wonderful stuff. Third fact, which relates to the GP directly, is that in the not so distant year of 2022, there were actually missile strikes from Yemen Houthi rebels, which targeted the extremely ecological, carbon negative Aramco oil facility 20 kilometers away from the track. And the fun thing is they had an emergency meeting that night, the FIA with the drivers, and they basically told the drivers, we're still going to run the race and you don't have an opinion.
Genius. Democracy.
Yeah, we love democracy.
Democratic.
We love cash is king.
No way.
And, you can actually see some of the black smoke from the burning facility in some instances of the live broadcasting during that time.
Just to add on what you're saying, Kevin, it's the same darn rebels that are pretty much interrupting the entirety of the global chain by firing missiles and drones on boats in the Red Sea.
Yeah, because it's near the Suez Canal, isn't it? So a lot of political turmoil in this area.
Are you doing political science, Ken?
I think so, bro. I think so.
So cultivated.
Yeah, and then one more little fun fact about the Saudi circuit. So it's a street circuit, and the way they did it is that they basically put concrete walls along the side of the street for most of the circuit.
Which is fun.
And if you think of it being as the fastest average speeds for the F1 cars on the entire calendar, where they go for about 250 kph on average, it kind of means certain death if there's a mistake on the straight or if someone spins out, because there's basically no cushioning. There is on the turns some runoff areas, but they're not very big.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk about that in the following minutes, because there's someone that decided to demonstrate that in, our favorite driver.
Our very special candidates, our favorite driver.
Now let's kind of go on. Right before the GP, there was kind of some drama with regards to Carlos, which was, for me, he was poisoned by Chuck Leclerc, which is also known as Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
I feel like Leclerc was maybe threatened by Carlos Sainz's performance and decided to possibly engage the FSB or KGB to create a appendicitis for him to be unable to race.
Yeah, it's interesting because the same thing happened to Carlos Sainz's father.
Coincidence? I think not.
Exactly. I think there is a conspiracy there that we're seeing. But the fact of the matter is that Carlos got replaced by this new driver, Oliver Behrman, who is an F2 driver.
The man that doesn't have an accent even though he's British.
I know, that was very uncomfortable. He's got a
Disturbing.
strange half French, half non-English, half English accent. The other very uncomfortable thing is that he's 18 years old, which makes us feel extremely old and unsuccessful.
That's the important part is to highlight is unsuccessful.
Yeah. Especially unsuccessful. He's racing in F1, and we are sitting in our rooms recording a podcast. So
Yes.
here we are.
With be careful, Kevin. 100 views.
With 100 views, yeah, we broke the 100 views within 24 hours.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the support. Greatly appreciate it.
I want to thank you guys. I want to thank my mom.
Thank you, Dad.
But yeah, I mean, going back to Behrman, this is actually the first time that Ferrari actually have like a proper rookie that hasn't had any experience in F1 since the 1970s.
Yeah, which is respectful.
Congrats to him. But yeah, I think that's kind of it before the GP. That's all the drama. And now we should maybe move on to the qualifying.
Dun, dun, dun. So qualifications were, I mean, for Behrman, it was an opportunity to show what he had in his stomach. Let's say, to be quite honest with you, for someone that, I mean, he's in F2 and that was called pretty much in the morning of the race and said, well, can you just like join F1? And even Frédéric Vasseur said, like, in the post-race interviews, he was like kind of not optimistic about the thing. But he did quite well. So he qualified, so he was P11, but only like 0.3 seconds behind Hamilton, which is, I mean, quite respectful considering the fact that Hamilton is a 7.5, let's say 7.5 Grand Prix champion. So I mean, it was definitely like a good accomplishment. And you could also see, for example, his father, and it was actually quite cute. Like at one point, he Behrman almost crashed in the barrier, and his father, you could see him he was like so tense. He was like,
Yeah, I'm surprised his dad didn't get a heart attack during the race or anything, because every shot we had on dad, he was like so tense. I've never seen a man this red in my entire life.
Well, I mean, I mean, telling yourself that your son is like 18 years old and is driving in a car that's probably like worth your mortgage is pretty like intense.
I think it's worth more than than the average person's mortgage.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, on the same subject of Ferrari, pretty much Charles Leclerc has demonstrated once and again his frustration towards Ferrari.
So yeah, in the interviews after the qualifying, after he poisoned Carlos, obviously it wasn't enough to soothe his pain. So what ended up happening is, yeah, he's just he was very polite about it, but obviously his tone was showing that he just wasn't satisfied with the car, and we'll see that in the race as well.
That kind of reminds me of someone else now, Kevin. I feel like he's French. He wasn't able to compete the race.
That sounds familiar.
Wait a minute. I'm getting news on the radio right now. I think it's Gasly. Gasly, who has no hope. He has lost hope for Alpine. He compared to his teammate Ocon, which is pretty much grasping on the small shed of light still in the Alpine team. Gasly has completely thrown the sponge. Let's say that.
Yeah, the French expression. No, that's fair. I mean, they're clearly two completely opposite drivers. One's given up publicly, and the other one's given up internally only. So, we know the truth. There's no need to make things up. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up qualifying. That not too much happened.
We don't need to say that. For example, Max Verstappen had pole position. He out qualified everyone like by seconds. No, I mean I'm exaggerating, but I mean he out qualified everyone. So I mean on that one, I feel like it's appropriate for us to kind of like skim to the race. Dun.
So yeah, following qualifying, we have our little classic race start. Lights out and away we go. But actually on that part before the first corner, again, there are two notorious events that have happened.
Dun.
The first one, which was even before the end of the formation lap, was again with our friend Pierre Gasly. who essentially had to retire the car
Mhm.
because of a gearbox failure. Why did the gearbox fail? Probably because they realized it was an Alpine gearbox. I think, it's a telltale sign that the new team principal that we discussed last episode, check it out. Jeremy Clarkson, has definitely shown that his tractor, which
Yep.
is the Lamborghini, is more reliable than the Alpine. So maybe Alpine need to take notes from Lamborghini.
Mhm. You see, Kevin, I think that it comes back to the triangle that I was talking about in the last episode. So there's like the skill aspect, there's the car engineering, and there's like the spiritual level. And you see his criticism towards like the qualification, post qualifications, kind of like, as they say, like bites him in the ass. Like I really do think that it caused the gearbox to fail. The gearbox like heard the interview and he was like, hell no. Mm-mm. I'm not gonna allow him to race.
He hurt the gearbox's feelings, and as
He did.
consequence of that, Gasly is now 21st out of 20 drivers in the driver standings. Because of Behrman, the gearbox really got back at him. 21 drivers for a 20 driver race. That's crazy. Following that, back to the race start, we had our little George Russell, Mr. Latte Boy, as a rocket-powered Mohawk refers to him. He actually is now a rat, because when Norris had basically a bit of a early start, he made a bit of a mistake before the lights went out, so he kind of jumped a bit over the line, and then Russell, without hesitation, Norris, early start, FIA, please.
Ratted him out.
But, FIA being the FIA, were very much inspired by Michael Massey and didn't give Norris any penalties. So that's good.
It's maybe also important just to add that even though he did do a little early start, he braked. So even though he did, I feel like maybe the reason why the FIA was kind of lenient on that one was because he realized his mistake and he
Yeah.
directly braked. Even though it's true that he did do, I mean, he gained some advantage, but it was not that significant.
Yeah, he didn't go over the line before the end of the lights, so I think it was fine. But yeah, away they go. First corner is actually not too much happens, disappointingly. But Verstappen is basically already 1 second ahead of everyone after the first lap. He's also leading after the first corner, so basically goes off into the distance. We all know he won 7 seconds ahead of Perez as well.
It's kind of like as if you were playing Mario Kart, but
Mhm.
you see you have like the rainbow power mode, like where you just go so quick. Max Verstappen, he has like a car that doesn't touch the ground, so there's like no friction and drag. And on top of that, he has like the rainbow mode, so he just flies. There's
Yeah,
no
man.
competition.
I think the next upgrades they're gonna bring is probably the rocket mode as well.
Yeah, no, but it's true. Yeah, but the worst part about that is that apparently I saw this right before doing the podcast. He before the pole position. I'm going back to qualification, but before the qualification, he was up till 4 a.m. doing sim racing. He went to bed,
Oh my
and
god, bro.
he managed to pull off a pole position, which I mean, it's quite impressive. Don't take my word for it. It's possibly last year's race, but it's to give you an indication
Yeah.
of the fact that Max is on another sphere.
Yeah, another level, another planet.
Yeah, he's so far away.
Neglecting Penelope, his wife's daughter.
Yep,
to
he's gonna
go to
have
school
daddy
later.
issues later on.
Well, actually, speaking of daddy issues, we have, after about lap 6, Lance Stroll. He wants to be the center of attention and
does.
decides to essentially clip the wall in one of the turns.
I prefer the term intercourse.
Yes, that's true. He does have a gentle intercourse consensually with the wall, snapping his steering, so very gentle, and essentially just crashing into one of the runoff areas. And the issue is the way he crashed is it's not safe for other cars if they have an accident. So this caused a safety car. So all the progress that everyone's gained on each other is just reset. I think Stroll was just trying to copy Latifi, the goats. You know.
For me, you see, there's like some Canadian energy right now.
Yeah.
When you're Canadian, like there's like this objective of just changing the entirety of the grid, and which I must respect because it actually adds excitement about something. Because when Goats Stroll crashed, there was the safety car. Half of the grid pretty much just pitted, which
Yeah.
I mean, it completely changed the order of the cars, and so there was like Norris, Verstappen, and Hamilton, and after Leclerc. So it was kind of exciting because you would see
Hmm.
a McLaren in her like natural habitat getting assaulted by Max Verstappen in about like 5 laps. But it was nice
Yeah.
because it changed the pecking order.
Yeah, no, it was very nice.
Yeah.
Very hectic because of the safety cars. So, as you said, everyone basically went into the pits. And we had a few
Mhm.
incidents with that. So, notably, the unsafe release from
Unsafe.
Perez, who almost crashes into Sigma Alonso. And
No, but it was like really close though.
yeah, no, it was pretty bad. It's good that I think who is it that I think Alonso just dodged it, which was good on him. But Perez got a 5-second penalty because of that.
Hmm.
But obviously that didn't affect his race because he's in
No.
a Red Bull, so no one cares. And then Leclerc gets a 5-second pit stop. So for those that don't know, pit stops are sub 2 seconds to maybe 3 seconds max. So 5 seconds is a lot, and basically it drops him from P3 down to P5. And the reason that Norris is in the front is that he actually didn't pit.
Yep.
So
That's true.
they just
Good
did a
point.
risky strategy. Norris keeping old tires on, which means he won't be able to have as much grip in the long run. So he's ahead of Verstappen with new tires, but you know how it ends.
Max will catch up. But the thing that I also want to add is for those that are not really aware, Ferrari have some kind of like skill where their drivers or them are gonna like destroy their own strategy. In this case, for once, Leclerc is innocent, and Ferrari must be charged on criminal accounts
Hmm.
for the 5 second pit stop.
Yeah.
5 second in terms of F1 is an eternity.
Yeah.
An example of this is, I mean, a bit later in the race, there's like the Chinese comrade Guang Yuzhou who decided to pit stop like a normal driver would, because they have to pit stop once. I mean, this one was a bit exaggerated. It was like 20 seconds.
Yeah, a slight exaggeration, just 10 times longer than the average pit stop.
It just keeps on getting better, It, I feel like, like they maybe get bonuses in like the highlighter team. I forgot the name of the team, but
Yeah, the Stake F1 team, the Ben 10 team.
yeah, they maybe get bonuses for like the longest pit stop they do. So Bottas got a huge bonus because he did like a 52-second pit stop.
Hmm.
And now it's Guang Yu Zhou who's doing a 20-second pit stop,
Yeah.
which destroyed his race.
No, it's beautiful stuff. I think they're breaking records in the opposite direction, and I think they should keep going there. I think they'll reach new grounds.
Definitely.
It's beautiful.
I just wanted to add this very important detail for the audience that's still with
Oh,
us.
that's fair.
The audience, there's a couple small percents.
Our 100 listeners, if you're still here, we love you guys. But yeah, and then safety car ends, and what do we have? So Norris doesn't have new tires.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, he actually gets a pretty good restart on Verstappen, but that's not a problem. Verstappen overtakes him within 2 laps, so all your hopes are basically crushed.
Bum, bum, bum.
And then Norris and McLaren make another bad move.
Yes. So pretty much they were gambling on the fact that there would be like a virtual safety car later on during the Grand Prix,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
they decided not to pit during the safety car. I mean, I think that it would have been more of a big brain move to pit before during the safety car.
Yeah, it's a free pit stop during safety cars because everyone's slow anyway. So yeah, I guess because of that, after his pit, Norris kind of became he finished in like P9 behind Hamilton,
Yes.
which is really tough. He chopped down 8 positions. But yeah, I mean, between the safety car ending and Norris pitting, there was quite a few laps, but nothing much happened. So that's why we're gonna skip through that. But yeah, him behind Hamilton, fighting for 8th, and we had some pretty good fighting along
Yep.
with the two of them. It's pretty
And also
entertaining.
illegal.
A
I must
lot-
add
a lot of
illegal.
a lot of
fighting.
illegal action. Well, I think they're evened out. Like they each did some pretty illegal stuff. I know Hamilton, when he was defending at the end of the straight, basically did this move where there's a rule when you turn into like a corner, you're supposed to stay on the line that you chose. And Hamilton essentially didn't. He just completely went to the opposite side,
I was like, hell
blocking
no.
Norris off, which is very ballsy, very dangerous. But then, later on, Norris, who manages to overtake Hamilton, defends Hamilton by essentially weaving on the straight, which is even more dangerous, arguably.
Yeah, pretty much it's like it's a competition of who can dangerous driving.
Yeah. Exactly. Who wants a black flag? So Norris does manage to stay in front, even with all those dangerous moves, because Hamilton has been given a tractor.
Yes. A great tractor.
The German tractor. I think Hamilton's given up now, because if you look at his teammate Russell, is much higher than him in the standings. He's like, Russell finished 6th, and Lewis is 9th, and this has happened in the first race as well, and it happened last year towards the end of the year. I think Hamilton's just completely given up and put his focus to Ferrari already.
I feel like maybe Toto is, well, I mean, he must be publicly sad about it, but like inside of him, he must be so relieved, because now he has like an extra like 30 million just to spend on the car to make it better for next year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. He can reinvest Lewis's salary into a better car. Yeah, Lewis charges so much. I don't know.
He's not worth the performance.
At the minute, he doesn't seem to be worth it.
You're 9th, bro.
But now, I think we should get to the juiciest part of the Grand Prix.
The god. The
one and only. The Viking.
The one and only. Magnussen.
Kevin Magnussen. He's my cousin, bro.
Really?
Yeah, but that's
I
why he's
wasn't
called
aware.
Kevin.
You guys look so
Now you
alike.
I know. Literally. Magnussen, who starts off with great things by getting a 10-second penalty.
No. I don't know if there's like one word to pretty much like summarize the entirety of Magnussen's race, is let's commit war crimes.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. Because he gets so many penalties. So
in total it was like 20 seconds.
Yeah, 20-second penalty. And Joe did that. Guan Yu Zhou did that. Without penalties, I think it's quite amazing. Maybe Joe was looking up to Magnussen. Who knows?
Yeah, but Zoe, he's like in the other league. You see, like he's on the next league.
He's on the negative league.
He's not even racing, but he gets like the 20 seconds.
Exactly. But yeah, so Magnussen, because he basically bumps into Albon because there's no space in the track, because it was designed weirdly, receives a 10-second penalty. And then Magnussen gets another 10-second penalty later on for overtaking Tsunoda outside of the tracks. Again, pissing off Tsunoda.
It was pretty messy, huh?
It was very messy. This was all during the restart.
I mean, it was not smooth.
No, no, it was opposite of smooth. He was caught in 4K, bro. This is all live.
He was caught red-handed.
Yeah, literally. I think he's now become the new Minister of Defense,
Yes, and also a Minister of Terrorism.
Yes.
For
of offense. Minister
yes,
of offense
exactly.
and defense.
Counterinsurgency.
He's an agent. But yeah, no. Magnussen doing crazy stuff. He's an absolute Chad, though, for this, because what he did was essentially hold up everyone behind him. So he was P12. He held up everyone behind him, building more than a 17-second gap for his teammate who was in front. and no car could even get past him because he
He
was
was
very
like a
good at
wall.
defending. Yeah,
He was like the Berlin Wall.
he really was, and he wasn't full throttle on some of the parts of the race. Like he was just cruising.
It's maybe because also he had like an Alpine behind him that would
Yeah, that too.
maybe explain the why he was like not on the throttle.
Yeah, the really heavy Alpine. And yeah, so with that, he was able to hold 6 cars up.
I think it was at one point it was 7 because there was like Guan Yu Zhou that came back
Yeah,
because of his pit stop.
because of the pit stop. Yeah, so he held up, I think, 6 cars for most of the race, and they were all within 1 second of each other and could not overtake one another.
It was really fun
Yeah,
to
it was
watch.
very
It was like,
entertaining.
yo, 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 DRS, yo, yo, yo.
But yeah, Hulkenberg, who ends up pitting, and because of the gap that Magnussen managed to build up,
The GOAT.
when Hulkenberg comes out of the pits, he's still in front of Magnussen, which is wild. And that actually enables Haas to get 1 point as Hulkenberg finishes P10. It's
The
a
symbolic
point.
The symbolic
beautiful.
1 point.
The funny thing is, from Magnussen himself, he was P11, and with the 20-second penalty, he only drops down to P12 because he was just so good at building a gap after his teammate went ahead of him. And
The pit
yeah,
stop.
in the interview, he has the fattest grin.
Yes, he knows what he
He
did.
knows what he did, He didn't have anything to lose. He was like, whatever. And he just doesn't elaborate on it as well. So,
Yeah,
silence is one of the best ways to
yeah,
answer
he's
this.
just a huge Chad.
No, he's such a Chad. Well done on Magnussen. Respect for the man has
Yes.
increased significantly.
Compared to Logan.
Logan.
Oh, I can't say his name. Logan Sargent,
Yeah.
which I didn't see for the entirety of the race.
No, it was pretty shocking because Magnussen, who held up most of the rest of the grid, Logan wasn't really to be seen anywhere,
Yeah.
even though he was in the back. We saw him towards the end, but he didn't make any moves on anyone, so a bit sad for the American.
No, but I mean, once again, I can't confirm or deny this,
Oh,
but I heard before the podcast that he
Uh-huh.
was maybe feeling bad, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really feel good," and his injury was like, "Bro, you can really retire if you want." So I feel like maybe not to excuse his bad performance, but he was acting sick, so he won't get fired next year. That's my big brain new theory. Because honestly, if he would be in an AlphaTauri like Nick De Vries was last year, he would have gotten ejected. No, but like Helmut would have gone to his place and took his house from him.
I know, but he doesn't have that pressure
No.
at Williams. I mean, I'm sure he's under pressure, but the fact that he's American helps him a lot because F1 are trying to expand to America.
America.
And it's funny because I saw that Williams actually started a podcast with Albon and Sargent, and they're gonna have some hosts as well on it. And let's just say that we're on the same wavelength.
Yes, in terms of technical issues.
In terms of technical issues, and yeah, I think it's just beautiful. I think it means that we're on the level of Williams in terms of podcasting, which I think is beautiful. I'm sure we'll get the same views. They got 60K views. We have more than 60.
One day, Kevin, we'll get there.
We'll get there. So this kind of concludes, the Jeddah Grand Prix. Not too much happened apart from those things. And I think I'm going to give some of my own post-race thoughts now for the end of the episode.
Please do.
So, in conclusion, Verstappen and Red Bull have already won the championship. So this is definitely Verstappen's 4th win. Red Bull, I don't know how many years in a row already. Congratulations to them.
Possibly their 5th, huh?
Yeah, maybe they're 5th, maybe 6th. Who knows? Who cares at this point? And then on the other, in terms of other teams, we look at our favorites. Alpine. I think they should sell themselves to maybe MBS, who wants to expand the sporting industry in his country, or Daddy Stroll. He might, if you're.
Who knows?
Yeah, if you own one team, might as well own the other one. The competition. I mean,
Big brain.
they're not competing for anything right now, but
No.
no.
It's fine.
And yeah, so thank you everyone for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that jazz. You know the drill. And we'll probably, hopefully, see you guys after the next Grand Prix.
Yeah, we have no clue.
Yeah, we don't know. But until then, while you wait, please enjoy our angelic voices.
Ta-da!
Dun dun dun. Dun 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 ba ba
Yum.